What a wonderful morning. We have new people. They're not so new, they've been here a while. But we have people joining us in fellowship as members, which is a wonderful thing. We celebrate the communion of our Lord, which is a wonderful thing. We have much to do. So I promise I'm not going to talk forever today. I promise. Zaccheus, an outcast because he was a tax collector. Not only a tax collector, but the chief of the tax collectors in the area. Now, some of you have been here a bit before, and you know that we talked about how tax collectors make their living. They just take what they can take. This is at that time. Of course, this doesn't happen now. That they just take whatever they can take, and then they pay the government only the smallest amount of what the government wants, and they keep the rest. Now, the chief tax collector usually has other tax collectors working for him. So the one the person sees says, "You owe me $200. And so Zaccheus maybe only wanted 150. So the little guy gets 50. Then he gives the 150 to Zaccheus, who keeps 100 of it and gives 50 of it to the government. And so Zaccheus was absolutely despised. Nobody liked Zaccheus. So when Jesus said, "I'm coming to your house for dinner, and I'm going to be friends with you and have fellowship with you and welcome you into my community," all the righteous people were horrified. What is he doing? But Zaccheus had been persistent. How many of us would climb a tree to try to see Jesus? Would you?
I sure would.
Awesome. I don't think I could. Maybe God would give me
The spirit
strength.
would be willing, but the body would not.
Yes.
cooperate.
But that's how important Jesus was. I mean, yes, you would. That's how important Jesus was to Zaccheus. Something touched Zaccheus' heart. Something touched his spirit, his mind, to know that he had to make a change. He had to transform. And as he followed Jesus, and as he listened to his teachings, the stuff about the rich man and the needle and the camel and all of that stuff, he began to see that by just gathering stuff around him and keeping it in his little tax collector way, that wasn't getting him to God. It wasn't giving him peace. Pursuing his worldly excitements, that didn't do it for him. Now, not only did Jesus go just have dinner with Zaccheus, it was his whole household. So Zaccheus and his entire household were brought to God out of God's transforming spirit and mercy. His conversion is one of the most important addressed in the Gospel of Luke. Zaccheus had not done anything yet to earn the presence of God. In fact, what he had done, in everybody else's opinion, should have sent him away. What was it? What was it that said, "Okay, Zaccheus, you're in"? Why did Jesus accept him and even go have dinner with him? Not a rhetorical question.
It was his show of faith, his show of
Zaccheus' faith?
willing to give up.
It is out of
Okay, so he tried hard. For not by works are you saved, but by grace. God's grace, Jesus' grace, was given to Zaccheus because of his faith. Because he knew that if he really tried to reach Jesus, he could. Like the woman who reached out and touched the robe. The faith. How do we get faith? We get faith by asking. Increase my faith, oh God, and God will do that. How do we get grace? Nothing we can do. Accept it. Receive it. Example of grace. And I'm hoping that this person will give the right answer. Sandy, your hat looks fantastic today.
My hat is warm today.
I paid you a compliment.
Thank you.
Thank you. I could do that to all of you, but I won't. Or I can pick on. But when we are given grace, when we are given a compliment, when we are handed something that we didn't even try to get. Zaccheus tried, of course, but that we didn't even. It's grace. It's grace. We can be an example of grace to people. Now, we're not God, right? But we can share God's grace with people. We're embarking on a season that smacks of works and efforts and things to do. Anybody know what that season might be? What, Donna? Christmas, yes. We're also embarking on a season, well, yeah, naughty and nice, all the lists, yes. We're also embarking on sort of a season in the church, something we start on right about now. And in that season, we are called upon, now that we're in this family, now that we're here, we've had this grace, now we have some jobs to do and some things to make happen. It's stewardship season. Yeah. When we come on stewardship season, we read this kind of passage about Zaccheus with this subject, that of gifts and giving. Zaccheus received a gift, and he gave gifts. He gave half of everything he owned. You do not have to give half of everything you own. It's okay, all right? But he did that out of love and grace and faith. And we do it in a stewardship season so that we can bind the world together through the ministry of us. Lots and lots of stuff in the Gospels are about money and possessions, abundance, generosity. And Jesus in this one about Zaccheus, he's not afraid to talk about it. He's not afraid at all. He rejoices. He tells the rich ruler to give his stuff away, right? Zaccheus shares his story, and Jesus rejoices. That's a lot of trust on Zaccheus' part to do that. It does bring up a bit of an uncomfortable question for, not particularly Bethel. I think Bethel works very hard, and I'm sure we have improvement that we can do, but I think Bethel works very hard. But just in the whole of the church throughout the world, it brings up this uncomfortable question about our role in suffering, economic injustice, and what can we do? I don't have all those answers. I know that we can continue doing our best. Being 5 for 5 for a small congregation, and 5 for 5 with the special offerings of the United Church of Christ that reach out around the world, helping people. contributing to SOLA, helping provide food for our neighbors in need. Just finding resources and helping match people up with them. That's part of what we can do too. Even if we don't have those resources ourselves, that's part of what we can do, is help find them and match people with them. One of the big things we can do as we join together as a church family is see what needs to be done right here and find a way to make it happen. One of the things that's happening today for us is we are welcoming new members. And it's exciting. I mean, let's see, we have 5 today, and we had 2 about a month and a half ago. 7 new members. We should just dance around rejoicing, right? And here's the thing, when we bring in new members and new people, that means there are more people to do the work. And it also inspires our people that are here already to start doing those things that they wanted to do. You know, some of us were a little asleep and tired and worn out. And a lot of us were taking on lots and lots and lots of things, which is really tough. Really a hard thing to do. Now here's the harder part. I'm doing 5 things. I'm not wearing my own hat, I'm just making an example. I probably do 300 things. I'm doing, these things. Now, I'm gonna take one of these things and give it to somebody else. Today, I give something to Tom. And I absolutely loved that deep voice reading our call to worship. Recently, we returned a task to Lorelli that she had done before and hadn't been doing for a while. And they're out of town this week, so she couldn't do it today. But she is helping light candles. I know we have someone else that may be helping learn doing that too. That's a big deal. I love to see whoever we have as our young people. Now today we have Sindri and Jacob, and Lorelli isn't here, and David isn't here, and but you know what? You two, you guys are full-fledged here. You can do stuff and be a real part of things. Every single one of us can. The hard part is for us to figure out what we can do, what tasks we can share, what things would be helpful. New stuff. You might think of something new. Old stuff that you don't want to do anymore. Or that you realize that you've been doing it forever and maybe someone else would like to contribute with that. It's going to be a little hard. This isn't just about you guys that are joining, right? This is about growth in general with us and how exciting it is to have wonderful ideas. Clara, it was, when we put up signs about signing up for stuff, she thought of a really cool one. I don't know if you guys have met yet, you and Carol, but a reading group, right? And if some of you are interested in a reading group, picking various books to read and study together, there's a thing to sign up in the parlor or just talk to Clara and we'll get that going. So it's exciting. Stewardship season is upon us. And part of that is giving our time and our talent as well as our money to support our work and to make things happen. And we're pretty good at it here, taking care of our resources and making them go. Some people say we give because we have to, because God requires it. That's kind of as exciting as saying we love because we have to, because God requires it. You know, a lot of stewardship appeals and sermons say, you have to give. I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to say that for us to grow and keep growing, and for us to do our work, it's now time to be thinking about our commitments. And part of the bottom line of all of it is just for planning. That's really what it's about. It's very often for planning, for us to try to figure out. And we give our best guess. We give our best thing that we think we can do and work it out as we go along, and everything seems to work. We're okay. I'm so delighted that Jesus went and had dinner with Zaccheus and showed us that we can welcome and be a part of our entire community. I can't say I like tax collectors, but I know some of them are just doing whatever job it was they could get. What I would hope is that the taxes that are collected start being used in a righteous way. There's a lot of places we can give our money to. There's a lot of places we can give our time and our effort to. But right here, with this fellowship and in this place, this is something special. This is something distinctive. This is something incredible. Sometimes when I share about Bethel, I've said, we're a small church in terms of congregation in a beautiful big building. And I've decided I'm going to stop saying that. We are an incredible church with a vision for growth and a love for each other in our community that just will not be stopped. Let's climb our trees. Let's find Jesus and let's share our good news in our loving community right here. When Jesus stopped and looked up at Zaccheus, it must have come as a shock. The most shocking thing, though, was probably the sudden realization that while he was looking for God, Zaccheus, God was looking for him. Have you ever tried to hide so you can see something really cool? Look over a fence or for me, in the back of the rehearsal hall and looking out to see. And all of a sudden, whoever it is I'm trying to see sees me trying to see them. Oh. When Jesus called out to him and invited himself to Zaccheus' house, Zaccheus was thrilled and a little scared, but he climbed down the tree and welcomed him gladly. I hope that as Jesus walks by our life, that we're going, and he sees us and says, I'm going to come have dinner at your house, that we say, yes, come on! Praise God. Our responding hymn is Thank Our God for Sisters, Brothers. It's in our New Century Hymnal, number 397.